Hello everyone, TMMgamer here, and today I have the pleasure of bringing you another one of my FIFA 13 team tutorials. And as you can see from the screen, today I have the undoubted pleasure as playing as FC Barcelona. So let's dive straight in and let's get into a game. Well, that was pretty quick. Now, today I've decided to set Barcelona up in a 4-2-3-1 wide formation, and I'm going to explain a little bit why here. But before I do, just want to run quickly through the personnel. If you didn't check the personnel at the start of the video, go back and do it now, or alternatively just wait for me to explain it, because I've got Victor Valdez in goal. You know, very straightforward choice. He's the best keeper at the club. Who else would you play in goal apart from him? Right back, well, pretty much de facto right winger, Dani Alves. You know, he's going to be storming up, and we have El Clasico. Well, this is going to be an interesting game. But yeah, the reason why I've gone for Dani Alves is just the same. He's incredibly attacking. He's brilliant. He offers so much width. He's got a pretty demon-like set piece on him as well, so you can have a bit of a ping with him. He's just really good. He's one of the best fullbacks in the game. They're very attacking, so you've got to be a little bit careful that he doesn't just charge up front and leave you on your tards. But he's a great player. And on the other side of the pitch, you've got Jordi Alba, who again is an absolutely tremendous fullback, and that so nearly worked. Perez was running through there. But yeah, Alba again, one of the best, if not the best fullbacks in the game. Incredibly quick, you know, skillful, decent crossing. Ideal. And then in the middle of the park, I've gone for Puyol and Piqué. Now, the default Barcelona has Javier Mascherano playing at centre-half, but I don't like that style of centre-back. I always like my centre-backs to be nice and strong in the air, and that's something that Mascherano isn't. And Puyol, yeah, he isn't the fastest, but I've been playing with him on my ultimate team for a very long time, and oh my days, he is a tank. So it doesn't matter that he's not particularly quick, because he sort of does a Vidic. You know, you've got players who are going to try and storm past him, and he just says no. He sticks an arm out and goes, nah, you're not going anywhere near me, and just rips the ball off them like, you know, they weren't even there. So he's fantastic. And Gerard Piqué, as you can see, bombing up the field here. He's a little bit different to Puyol. You know, he's still tankish, but he offers you a little bit more manoeuvrability. So between them, those two are a fantastic centre-back partnership. So that's the back four. Let's begin to move up into the midfield. Now, what I've decided to go for in the midfield, and obviously Barcelona have just an embarrassment of riches in the midfield, but I've gone for Xavi and Busquets. Now, I'll start with Busquets first. You know, people would be tempted to play Fabregas possibly. Oh, good block. Hit it, Iniesta. Oh, another good block. Hit it again, Iniesta. Oh, dear. But yeah, people would be tempted to go for Fabregas at the middle of midfield. And the reason why I don't do that is because that would just leave Barcelona to be too attacking. When you think about it, you know, they've already basically got two wingers on each side, because Alves and Alba are two incredibly attacking fullbacks. So Busquets is a good player to have in the middle of the midfield, because he has the tactician skill, so he always seems to be in the right place at the right time. He pops up with some fantastic little interceptions. You know, he really is a good player. He has 81 stand tackle, I think, and I think it's 79 slide tackle. And when you compare that to like Xavi, who has tackling in the, it might be the 50s actually, it really might be that low, but it's certainly in the 60s if it's not the 50s. So having someone like a Busquets alongside him is really necessary in this formation, and it certainly helps. So that's the reason why I've gone for Busquets and not Fabregas in midfield. Xavi, self-explanatory again. You know, he's just so good. Really good at passing, has a demon set piece on him. You saw from the corner earlier just how good he is, and that has a key little nick there. So you'd always have Xavi in your team. And then this is where it's going to be slightly controversial, but I'm going to back up my viewpoints here, because as you move up the pitch, I've decided to go for Lionel Messi in the central attacking midfield position. And this is because Messi is your best player, and I want Lionel to get on the ball as much as possible. And that's a great cross, and Perez has nodded it over. Disappointing. But sometimes I find if you play Lionel Messi as a striker against players who are, you know, very defensive or have two powerful centre-backs, you can often have Lionel knocked off the ball. And this is something you don't want, because, you know, once you get him on the ball, sometimes he's just unstoppable. He will just wander through, take 7 players on and knock it into the top corner from 20 yards. He just really is incredible. To be fair, he does that in real life, so there's no real reason for him to be underrated on FIFA. But like I mentioned, if you drop him in that striker position, sometimes he can get a little bit surrounded by big, powerful centre-backs. When you play him in central attacking midfield, like here, he always picks the ball up, normally running at defenders, and that's what you want. Because Lionel Messi's strengths, you know, if you've seen him play one game in real life, you know what his strengths are. He can dribble, he's really good on the ball, he has an absolute demonic left foot. That's a good pass. No, that was not meant to be there. That was a bad little dink. It was a really nice play up to that point. But yeah, that's why you have Messi in that role. And then on the left wing, slightly controversial choice again. I've gone for Andreas Iniesta, and a lot of people would like to play, for example, Pedro on the wing and have Iniesta in midfield. But the reason why I've gone for that is partially because, you know, I have him to have the shot on target. Oh, perhaps not on target. But yeah, I've always had Iniesta play on the left in my ultimate team. I'm just used to him playing in that role, and he's a nice foil for someone like Alexis Sanchez, who I'm going to come on to in a little bit. Because, you know, Iniesta is not an out-and-out winger. He checks inside a lot. You know, so he'll come in field. He's got really good dribbling. He's got good technical ability. He can pass fantastically well. So it's just someone a little bit different. He's got a bit of skill as well, so he can check inside and keep the move alive. And when you've got so many players who are good at passing, you really need to make the most of that. And that's a cheeky ball that didn't really come off there, but never mind, decent little dink. So yeah, that's why I play Iniesta on the left. I like him to check in. I like him to try and link the play up with the Xavis and the Busquets in the middle of midfield. And I tried to be a little bit too cute with Iniesta there. I should have just played that simply. But you see there, Puyol, no danger. You know, just dominated Benzema there. Like, there was no problem whatsoever. So let's try and get Danny up the pitch a little bit. Oops, get it out of the way. Right, so that's the... Oh, I didn't mention Sanchez. Yeah, Sanchez, really good winger. You know, quick. He's got decent finishing as well. So he's just a nice player to have. Messi! Oh, he's crashed it over. I thought that was going to be the goal then. But yeah, that's Sanchez explained. You know, really good winger. Fast, cross, dribble. You know, pretty self-explanatory there again. Slightly controversial up front as well. I've gone for Pedro. Now, you could play David Villa up front, you could play Lionel Messi up front, but the reason why I've gone for Pedro is because he has 5-star weak foot. So Barcelona, the way I like to play with them is just pass and move, pass and move, pass and move. And occasionally you're going to get like a 2-second window, perhaps not even that, to shoot. Just try and score. There we go, Lionel, great goal. Finally, after a half of dominance, get the goal. But yeah, Pedro is an ideal centre-forward in this lineup because you're playing a lot of intricate passing. You're trying to get him just that inch of space. And the great thing about Pedro is when the ball drops to him in the box, you can shoot. It doesn't matter if he's on his right foot, his left foot, whether he needs to volley it, anything at all. Or he can just knock the ball towards the goal, and 99% of the time it goes in because he has, like I mentioned, 5-star weak foot, and he has pretty good finishing. I think his finishing's 81. So, you know, that's very, very competent finishing, especially when you can do that off both feet, because not many players can do, for example, like that, just volley it in, nice and easy, 2-0 up very, very easily there. But, you know, that's the team. Very, very solid. I mean, there really is no weak link on this. I think the lowest rated player in this team is Jordi Alba, who's an 83, I think, off the top of my head. And he is just incredible, partially because he's so quick, but he has absolutely tremendous technical stats as well. And I'll just get Victor on that, and that'll probably be the end of the half. Right. Is there space for the cheeky kick? And there might be. A bit too much power. But yeah, that's the lineup. Now to explain a little bit of the formation. Like I mentioned, I've gone for 4-2-3-1 wide. So that is with the wingers slightly wider and a slightly more retreated position. Because the basic 4-2-3-1 is really quite rigid, because it's like a straight line of 4 at the back, then a line of 2, then a straight line of 3, then the one guy up front, and that's not really what you want with Barcelona. You know, everyone in this team is tremendous on the ball. They have great touch, they've got great passing, they can move well, you know, very, very agile, they've got good balance. So what you want to do is you want to have a lot of fluid movement in midfield. And occasionally when you play the basic 4-2-3-1, just the very flat lines, you can get a little bit of a rigid system, and that's something you desperately want to avoid with Barcelona, because you don't have the ability to bludgeon a team down. You know, you don't have a Ronaldo, a Drogba, and Ibrahimovic up front where you can just ping it and be ultra direct and try and batter a team into submission. You have to play to their strengths, and this is a major reason why I think some people struggle with Barcelona, because there isn't really a plan B with them. Because, yeah, you could play a little bit direct and play the ball into the wing with a Sanchez, but then who are you going to cross it to? You know, it doesn't matter who you play up front, you're not going to be winning too many headers. And, you mean, I got lucky with that Sanchez cross earlier. Right, I'm just going to check. Oh, that's a bad... Oh, that is so lucky! Oh, Casillas! You jammy git, how have you kept that out? But yeah, there really isn't that much point to crossing. Only cross when you've got no other option on. I mean, you saw earlier... hang on. When Ronaldo's on the ball, you've got to be a little bit careful. You can't just run round me. Oh, perhaps he can just run round me. Just absolutely nailed Dani Alves to the floor there. good. Well, I'll say good save because he kept it out, but he really should have got his mitts on that and held it. But that's their first shot, and you can see with Barcelona here, when you pass, when you control the play, you're just so hard to deal with. Because you just have everyone who's very, very talented on the ball. There really is no weak link when you're on the attack. Get out the way, lads. Well done. Oh, sir. Oh, didn't realise that was Busquets. But he's still going to battle. Run. It's only Varane. Check. Oh, he's done him. Put it in the top corner. Oh, he's hit the bar. Oh, that would have been a great goal. Busquets, you demon. See, that's exactly what I mean. You know, Sergio Busquets is the most defensive player on this team, and you've just seen him absolutely shred Real Madrid and finesse the ball onto the bar from an acute angle. So, you know, you really have no weakness, but you've got to play to the strength. You know, I've explained that so horrendously badly. Let's try and rephrase that. You know, Barcelona aren't blunt, but you have to play to their strengths to be successful. But if you do play to their strengths, then they are pretty much unstoppable. And you've seen me just absolutely destroy this guy. And, you know, Real Madrid are one of those go-to teams online where a lot of people just punt it up front to Ronaldo, you know, and just go from there. And you've seen that Ronaldo had that little run earlier in the game where he just monstered 2 or 3 of my players for no good reason. And occasionally that does happen. No, you're going to run into some players who like to play that slightly direct, brutal style. They like to play PSG because Ibra's in the team, that sort of stuff. But if you can deal with that... Oh, Lionel. Oh, Lionel. Disappointing. But yeah, if you can deal with that, then there's really no problems. And this is why I like to run Puyol at the back. Because like I mentioned, Mascherano is a bit of a lightweight, and I've defended that badly. Puyol did well there. And he did well again. But yeah, Mascherano is a little bit of a lightweight. So, and that was obviously to Iniesta, wasn't it, game? Obviously, not to the slowest player in the team, Busquets waddling through the middle. But yeah, that's what you've got to be aware of. Just be a little careful of those players being blunt. But... like, you can just see from this game how good Barcelona are when you actually get the ball down. Because, you know, Pedro up top, he's very, very good at linking the play because he's got that 5-star weak foot, like I mentioned. You've got Messi in the hole behind him. You know, Lionel Messi, he's the best player in the world. You know, definitely the best player in the world, in my opinion. Because his just goal-scoring record is insane. And he can just run at defenders. Got absolute cannon of a left foot. You know, you've got to be a little bit more careful with him than you do with Pedro, because his weak foot, I think he's only 3-star off the top of my head. So, you know, every now and again he does a really good thing with his right foot and it just looks incredible. But then sometimes he spanners it over the bar from 4 yards and you just sit there going, why have you done that, Lionel? Oh, that was a little bit too telegraphed, that. Sent him a letter in the post what I was going to do with that pass there. Ooh, Michael Essien. He's made a few interesting substitutions, this guy. I'm not sure why he's brought Coentrão and Essien on. Very unusual way he's doing with Madrid here. But yeah, that's pretty much Barcelona in a nutshell. I've run through basically what I wanted to talk about here, and the rest of the game's just going to be me trying to score more goals. But once again, I'd endeavour you guys, if you do have any more teams you want me to try, and how has he won the ball back with that? You jammy git. Come on, Geordie, put your foot in. That'll do. But yeah, like I mentioned, if there's any teams you guys want me to try, don't hesitate to leave a comment. You know, I think the next team I'm going to do is PSG. I've had a fair few requests for that. I've had requests for a couple of English teams as well. I think the Gunners are one I'm going to try next. Oh, bad ball. Because yeah, Arsenal are a little bit of a strange team to play with. You know, they've got very, very good players, but they have their own unique play style. They're a bit like Barcelona. You know, you cannot bludgeon your way to victory at Barcelona. You've got to finesse it. You've got to play those passes like I've mentioned. So some people find it difficult to, you know, cope with that play style. So if there is any teams like that, don't hesitate to mention. And oh, Andreas, very, very nearly. But yeah, just I hope you guys as well. If you haven't, guys, sorry, get my words out there. English is hard, guys. Apologies. But if you haven't checked the video I uploaded yesterday, it is the FIFA 14 information. I'll actually be interested to hear what you guys have to say about that as well. And I might try something a bit ridiculous with Messi. Oh, ref! I was going to say, if you're wondering why that was a penalty, because it was a tackle from straight on, I'd just done the advanced rainbow flick over the back of my head, so the ball was like at the back of my thigh instead of at the floor. So that's a really good little trick. If you know someone's going to come storming in, and hopefully this shows it. Can you see that? I'd just gone to flick the ball up, so instead of getting the ball first, he comes scything through and gets the leg, and that's a very, very cheeky trick to win a penalty. I don't know why I bother telling you guys all these tricks. I'm just neutering how good I am at FIFA. Is that Lionel Messi? Only a 78 penalty taker. Right, let's try and thump this in. Stutter. There we go. Bit late on the dive from the lad there. But yeah, this is turning into a very, very comfortable win now. And it's a good way of showing you how to play with Barcelona. You know, I haven't just done a long punt. I've played balls into the channels. I've tried to suck midfielders out of position to give Messi a bit more space in that central attacking midfield position. And then on defence, see Busquets again, putting pressure on. Just don't lunge. Try and let Sergio get back in position. See, even Xavi's putting his foot in now. Oh, good save, Victor. You know, this is what you want to do. Try and keep them at arm's length on defence. Make sure that they can't just get someone powerful and run through you, which is, you know, one of the reasons why I run Puyol, like I've mentioned. And then when you're on the ball, try and use as much of the pitch as you can. Sorry, I just couldn't see the blue dots on the radar then if you was wondering why I was twirling around. Yeah, try and make the pitch as wide as you can. Try and get Sanchez in behind. Try and, if you do check inside with Iniesta, you've got Jordi Alba on the overlap. He's really good as well. Come on. Come on. No, wrong skill. That was disappointing. So I did 2 and then the third guy got me. That's a potential little problem. Try and time the step up. Nearly worked. But you see here, you know, Jordi Alba and Dani Alves are so good at covering because they're both so quick. You know, it doesn't really matter that Puyol's slow because you've got PK next to him who's not slow for a centre-back and he's also a tank. So that's very, very useful. And then if they do play the ball behind, because I always play on defensive and I manually send my fullbacks up the field, I never have the problem of Dani Alves going on one of his motoring runs when I don't want him to. So they're always in roughly the right position for me to do something. Oh, Andreas nearly arrived. Oh, disappointing. I was about to line up with Xavi then. But yeah, this has been a good example of how to play with Barcelona. I hope you guys have enjoyed it because most of the time in these tutorials I always seem to just win 1-0 a bit scrappily and miss a hatful of chances. Now, I've hit the bar a couple of times. No, it was only once with Busquets. But that was just a very, very solid win and a good example of how to play with Barcelona. So let's have a quick check at the match details. See what they say if this guy ever decides to hit X and skip the end of match screen. And we'll see how I played. Fingers crossed it was good. Come on, lad. Skip. There we go. Right, you can see there. Lionel Messi, man of the match. Let's just have a look at Messi's stats. So he's got 14 out of 18 passes completed. 14 out of 16 dribbles completed. You know, didn't make any crosses. He even put 3 tackles in. You know, he's that good. Didn't make any saves, unfortunately. He was slacking off in that regard. But you really see how the team works. Messi is your central hub of this team. That's why you play him in centre attacking midfield. All of your good play will go through him. He'll spray the ball out wide to Sanchez. Iniesta will come in off his wing and link up, and then Alves on the overlap or Alba on the overlap. You know, Puyol and PK so solid at the back. It's just a great team. You saw Pedro up front there. You know, he runs the channels well. He's got good finishing off both feet. You know, a very, very good right foot volley for his goal. Let's have a look at the overall match details. I mean, you see there, that's just a murdering, isn't it? Look at all the shots. All of my shots are basically from between 6 and, say, 20 yards out. So I've just rained down high-quality shots on target. And it doesn't matter who you're playing. If you continually do that, you're going to win games very, very comfortably. So, guys, thank you for watching. I really hope you've enjoyed the video. Quick reminder, if there are any more teams you want me to play, don't hesitate to leave a comment. But once again, thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. And as always,